Welcome to the UWC Network Podcasts, which is brought to you by UWC4Life.com. Visit the shop and help support this project and others. The ideas expressed on these podcasts are not necessarily the thoughts of the UWC Network. They should all be taken with a grain of Miss Dash. The podcast's subject matter may be controversial or polarizing. Relax, Snowflake. If you have any issues with the content or talent, you are more than welcome to tell us on our hotline.
315-791-2280. That's 315-791-2280.
By listening to the podcasts, you have waived your rights to sue. Thanks, Dandelion.
Welcome to Social Anarchists.
Oh, feel good! All release my power! America!
My name is Christopher X. X always marks the spot. I'm being joined by my partner, Positive Panda.
Hey, that's me. So positive I am.
Okay.
I don't know.
So yeah, we are several days late. And the reason why is because of the fact that Miss Panda here decided to go to the capital of the country. Didn't you? Isn't D.C. the capital of the country?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, you were there.
I was there.
You were there. And you weren't here.
I'm glad we established that. I was there. You were here.
Yeah.
I was not here.
Yeah. So that's why we were going to postpone it till Thursday. And then she came home on Thursday. And I drank a lot. We both drank a lot. And celebrated that she was home. So, yeah, that was, I don't drink Southern Comfort. This woman bought me Southern Comfort, and I'm actually starting to develop an appreciation for it.
In my mind, I was grabbing a bottle of Wild Turkey.
Yeah, well, it was not wild, and it was not turkey.
I know.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. All right. So we got some weird stories and some anger. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back after these words.
Okay, so picture this image in your mind. 3.5 years ago, I walk into First Print Comics at 1548 Buffalo Road in Rochester. And what do I see? It's tall, thick, hard, and bright pink. It's the Paper Girls, Book 1. I fell in love the second I opened it. That's what draws me to comics, the colors, the art. And ever since then, Mike, who owns First Print on Buffalo Road, knows just what to recommend. Whether it's Lady Killer, a 1950s housewife who's also a killer for hire, or Alex and Ada, if you want to see what it's like to fall in love with a robot, or 8 billion genies. I'm not sure if you want to know what it's like to know what would happen when every human on this planet has access to a genie that can grant a wish. But if you do, and you're like me, go to First Print Comics. That's 1548 Buffalo Road, Rochester.
Holy God, sometimes you just don't want to go to Facebook, you don't want to go to Twitter, you just want to look at a picture and either like it or ignore it or just keep moving on. Well, guess what? The UWC at UWC4Life has its own Instagram. Follow us. See our crazy, wacky adventures. Follow us onto Instagram TV, where you get exclusive stuff that you'll only see on Instagram TV. Stay in the now, stay in the wow. UWC4Life on Instagram.
This is Lumberjack Brian. I just want to let you guys know you should really hit up Facebook.com/UWC4Life. It is too
Can't say that.
Can't say it?
Can't say that. That's registered trademark.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Totally. There's a lawsuit about it right now.
From who?
From the guys that own it. The big guys. Yeah.
They seriously trademarked that?
Yeah, they did.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Hey, you can just give the address. Just give the address again.
Just give the address.
Yeah, just go.
Facebook.com/UWC4Life.
UWC Network News.
Are you sure you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Because, I mean, I can put the thing on so that way you can, like, hear me, completely hear me. No? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I don't want to, because then I hear myself.
Oh, no. Okay. So what do we got in the news?
So this first news item is interesting to me.
All right.
So, a solid 20 years ago, I remember watching this show, I want to say on PBS, the local station.
Ghost Rider?
No, no.
I used to love that.
Yes, I watched that regularly, but
Did
no.
you really? I love
Yes.
that. I thought it was so cool.
That was the best.
Anyway.
So, that and Carmen Sandiego. But anyway.
God, I was in love with you.
So, this show, it was some sort of news, like investigative reporting type show.
Okay.
And they were looking at where items get made. So, like, whether it's clothing, shoes, whatever.
Okay.
Things you would find in department stores. They were looking at who makes them and what companies pay for them to be made. And then what the people working in those factories get paid, what their working conditions are like, and what their lives are like. And I remember being honestly in the moment, and this is where I feel really kind of horrible. I remember in the moment watching and learning how Walmart, yep, I said it,
Ooh.
is able to sell things at such a low price. And it is because they are basically able to go overseas to places like, I don't remember specifically, like Thailand, let's say, or, you know, somewhere over there, and basically demand that you're going to make this specific item and I'm only going to pay you so many pennies for it. And because they buy so many, it adds up. Yes, this is what happens.
That's crazy.
And I'm giving you the simple version. And so then, because the citizens of that country have so little, and because that is their best option, they go to work for, you know, pennies.
Pennies on the dollar,
a day.
as they say.
And they're literally living in what I don't even know what to call, because if I call it a shack, that's being generous. And what moved me to tears in that moment watching it is that they did what I thought was completely unintentional, but was one of probably the cruelest things that they could have done to this woman that they showcased in this show. So they showed where she lived, and like I said, calling it a shack is generous. I'm going somewhere with this, by the way. They, you know, told the viewer how much money she made, which was pennies, what she was making, how much it sells for here, which was, you know, I want to say she was getting paid pennies, and, you know, the per item price was like $20. Now, mind you, this is like 20 years ago, right? Are you listening to me?
I am.
Uh-huh. And what do?
What do they do?
They fly this woman to the United States and bring her into a Walmart and show her what that item is being sold for. So now she's coming face to face with how much money this corporation is making while she is living in less than a shack and starving. And
So when they flew her over, okay, did they pay her to come over to America?
I mean, they don't reveal that, but judging by her emotions, it would be hard to believe that they did. But, I mean,
That's horrible.
so when I thought, like, how horrible is that? Right? Not that it should be kept, like, a secret, but, like, you know, that's, ugh. And I remember I was telling everyone at the time, oh, my goodness, I watched this show. I don't want to shop at Walmart anymore.
So,
I don't want to shop at Walmart anymore. And then, unfortunately, what happened to me after a while, and I think what is probably common for many of us, is you can't afford not to shop there for certain things, right? You're going to go where it's cheapest. Because I'm not wealthy. I don't have, the money to go shop at Whole Foods for all my groceries.
Oh,
yep,
Jesus,
I said
Whole
it.
Foods.
So
you walked into that place. Fuck that place. Anyway,
what I saw on the news today, I'm like, oh, gosh, that's it. That's too far. And then I thought, wow, how horrible am I?
What?
Because I knew that 20 years ago, and that didn't stop me from shopping at Walmart. But when it affects me, I feel otherwise, and that's where I feel guilty.
That's human nature.
What's in the news today is that Walmart is planning to buy the TV maker. I don't know if I'm saying it properly. Vizio.
Really?
Vizio. What I did not know is that TV company is considered to be the leader in the spy TV market. I quote that from Channel News 10, our local news station. And the reason that that's a big deal...
I used to have one of those.
And I'm going to read this directly from News 10 NBC's website because I can't put it in better words.
Okay.
So I quote, and there, mind you, this is sourced from the Wall Street Journal. So, Vizio has a well-established data licensing business that allows advertisers to access all the information your TV gathers from spying on you. That includes what you watch, when you watch, and the ads you see. Now, am I overly surprised by that? I guess not really.
That sounds like a Google search.
Right? Like, I know it's kind of a running joke at this point. I'll talk about something, and I'll go to Facebook, and there will be an ad for it. I'll be in the store shopping for something. I'll go to, somewhere else online. There will be magically an ad for it. So, obviously, I'm being spied on. But why did it just bother me to my core that this is now Walmart? Once again, here they come to take over even more.
I guess. If it wasn't Walmart, it'd be Tesla or something else.
Because here's the thing. As it stands, Vizio was selling that information. They weren't keeping it to themselves. Now, obviously, you can feel that that's a negative. They're selling your information, right? Mm-hmm. But what's worse, that information being shared or Walmart having total control when they do not renew the contract to share the information and they keep it to themselves, because that's what's probably going to happen.
I don't really give a shit, because it's like, as soon as you do a Google search or anything, like earlier when we were having dinner, I showed you that if I turn on my camera, a special little green light shows up on the top right hand corner of the screen. When I did a Google search, that same light came on. So like it was recording me doing a Google search. So every time I search on Google, I'm getting recorded by my camera on my phone. So it's like, yeah, it could be Walmart and it could stay stagnant within Walmart's thing where I may or may not shop at Walmart. I might go somewhere else. Or it could be Google, which is like the number one fucking search engine, everything in the world. Fuck you, Alexa. You're not catching up to Google. Google's been here longer, and it's going to be here to the end, unfortunately. Think about that. That scares the shit out of me. You can be on your Apple phone, and instead of using Alexa, you can use Google, which you do. How many other people do that? Several. Millions of people do that shit. And on top of that, with the whole Android system, Google is the main component that runs that. Plus, they have their own phone system. So slowly, they're gathering through all of those things. And they're doing whatever the fuck they want with that information. And they're very proactive on it. They branch out and they do more than Walmart does. Walmart is like an in-house piece of shit company, whatever.
I know. And that's where it's not logical. I'm admitting it is not logical. That's why I said it's something about the fact that it's Walmart.
It's because you have a bad taste in your mouth for it. Stop shopping there.
And I say that knowing that I've had experiences like being... Actually, I was in a Walmart, now that I think about it. I was in a Walmart a few years ago shopping for nail polish.
All right.
I picked up a brand that I've never bought before. My phone is in my purse.
Okay.
I didn't even buy it.
Uh-huh.
I buy what I went for, because nail polish wasn't it. Drive home, go on Facebook. There is an ad for that nail polish.
What can I say?
What the fuck?
It's spying on you. Everything's
coincidence? That is not a coincidence.
Not a coincidence.
Right. So I'm saying, how, our every move is being monitored.
Absolutely. Anyway, do we have another story? This is
yes. So
you're doing this whole conspiracy tin hat thing at me, and it's just okay.
Okay, so we'll move on from that. So the second piece of news, the first sort of half of it, I'm sure everyone in our area has heard about at this point.
In the Rochester area.
So Tuesday morning, a man's body was discovered in the reservoir of Highland Park. That water is drinking water for many parts of the city of Rochester.
I'm going to tell you right now. That is what the Joker is historically known for. Is that he was going to poison the water supply of Gotham City. It has been in several different comic books. It was the main crux of the entire Arkham Asylum game. That he was going to poison the water supply and get everyone. And you're telling me that somebody's body was in our water supply. So this guy accomplished what the Joker was trying to do for the last 80 years. Yeah, I took it there.
I don't really.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I mean, so give us a skinny. What's going on with that?
So I don't want to say too much because what eventually came out is that there is, in fact, video footage of him climbing the fence and sliding into the water.
Okay.
So
he did this on purpose? Did he fall in?
That's what it sounds like.
That he did it on purpose?
Yeah. So, this is someone's family. This is horrible.
Oof.
But here's the interesting thing, and this is why I'm talking about it, right? Because this is not breaking news. Everyone around us knows about this. I found out about it while I was in D.C. Other people from the New York, Western New York, even down to Binghamton, heard about it, right? We all know.
Yeah.
What's interesting is the other side of it.
What's the other side of it?
So, not that this happened and the fact that the body was in there, but the problem with the fact that the body was in there for a month, despite the fact that there are cameras running 24/7, despite the fact that there are, I guess, heat sensors, motion sensors.
Really?
Equipment with such sensitive detection systems that the mayor of Rochester was quoted as saying it could detect an oncoming storm by the slightest change in, wind and different things.
I'm going to have to call bullshit on that one.
But somehow it didn't detect a man sliding his self into the water.
That's bullshit.
Why?
Because if it's that sensitive and it has that kind of capabilities and it's that technology,
well, it's flawed.
Yeah,
and that's what the mayor said.
Or if we're in let's say we're in a situation where it does have all these high-tech sensors and all these precautions that have been put into place. Are these things that are automatic or are these things that are manually monitored? Because if they're manually monitored, man, it's flawed. So somebody could be falling asleep at the wheel. You know what
camera,
I mean?
I can tell you, the only thing I know for sure for that question is the camera is not monitored 24/7.
See, there you go.
So they didn't even see the footage until they found him, and then they reviewed the footage.
So that's the city of Rochester.
That's problem number one. Problem number two is the reservoirs that are open in Rochester, because that's not the only one, as they exist, should not be. They do not follow federal EPA guidelines.
No, absolutely not.
For maintaining safe drinking water, and the city has known this for years and gotten extensions on, having a certain amount of time to address it and fix it.
I guarantee you that instead of putting a dome on the reservoir, they would rather have the pretty aesthetics, you know, and I'm sure people would rather look at the aesthetics, but not think about the bird shit that's getting dropped in there, or the dead animals that I guarantee you have been in this water, and now a dead person for a month. You know, it's fucking ridiculous.
Well, and that's part of the issue is apparently in the past there was discussion of covering it, and residents were like, no, but it's so pretty. Because you think about,
so they were like that.
Yes, it's aesthetics. You think about Cobb's Hill. It has the fountain in the middle. We've gone and walked around it.
Yeah, I know, but
let's be honest.
I could give a shit. I mean, if it's like to save the water, you know,
right.
Come on, that's just dumb.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, yes, it appears the man chose to do it, but you know what? And they do test, I guess, at least 5 times a week for E. coli. I don't know what else they test for. I only read specifically in the news, local news, that they test for E. coli at least 5 times a week, and nothing was detectably different.
So wait a minute, is I can't remember, is E. coli like in shit or piss or anything?
Or like, contaminated?
Because I mean, if the guy died, okay, he's dead.
We know. He has
no,
a family.
I'm going to go into the fucking details. Fuck that shit.
Okay,
the guy, when you die, you evacuate your bowels. Now think about that, people. This guy was dead in the reservoir, floating in the reservoir water that's going out to people, like in the 19th ward, in different areas, surrounding that area. He evacuated his bowels. He's dead. So that piss and shit and whatever other fluids were coming out of his body has been in the water. And you're telling me that they didn't detect anything. Was it watered down that much that they didn't detect it? You got to be kidding me.
Well, it's 15 feet deep, and
there should have still been something.
18 million gallons.
So that's how much,
I guess it would be pretty diluted.
Jesus Christ. So that's how many gallons you need to make a human body not detectable. That's horrible. That's just fucking negligence. And I mean, how long was he? He was in there a month. So his family,
a month, yeah.
Were they looking for him?
Well, and that leads to another, I guess, interesting piece of this.
What do you mean?
This occurrence, because we were talking about it yesterday, right? About what seems to happen, and I didn't intend to talk about this because I didn't look up any stats on it, so I don't really want to have a replay of Haiti. But I swear we need to have a part 2 on that podcast because I have so many facts now.
Oh my god!
But that's okay. But it often occurs in certain areas. Rochester, I'm going to have to say opinion because I don't have facts being one of them, that when people go missing, the amount that it is talked about, spread publicly, the amount of time and resources we put into looking for them seem to be dependent on race.
Well,
and in case you don't know and you're listening and you're not from Rochester, New York, the man who slid himself into the reservoir was black. So, to be transparent, neither of us really watches TV.
No.
We watch streaming services. But I think that we are on, between the two of us, various forms of social media enough. And I know I follow all sorts of news channels that I feel like I should have seen this, and I saw nothing. And when I Googled it, I only saw a couple of news items about him being missing. Whereas I can think of certain other people, usually white females, that when they've gone missing, what did I say in the car? Like, we'll rip up people's lawns. We're turning over every pebble to try to find this person.
Man.
This man goes missing. I didn't even hear about it. That's a problem.
Yeah. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break, mark out for these words. Oh my God, it's Wednesday. I got to do a podcast. We gotta do a podcast. I gotta get in the right mindset. What am I gonna do? Oh my God, it's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day. I gotta get down to First Print on 1548 Buffalo Road. Mike knows what to do. He's got my bag ready for me. I don't even have to look around the store. I do, though. I always do. I always end up getting something extra. But he always has my bag ready for me. And it's Wednesday, so you know I gotta get there. Down to 1548 Buffalo Road to First Print Comics. Go to uwc4life.com. That's uwc4life.com. And you can watch the final chapters of Underworld Champions under UWC TV. Check that out. Get the personalized merchandise of some of the workers there. And that's at uwc4life.com.
Ranger Gator. Jaws a party.
Yo, hardest MC alive. My name is Christopher X. X always marks the spot. I'm done! I constantly try to warn you. Yeah. Haha. Yeah. He knows what I'm talking about. Haha. Yeah, let him know. Thought you should know. That's not quite what I'm walking in the yeah, we heard. But this is how it rolls. This dude is so rough. He walks into a room in an elf onesie, black trench coat, black boots. He's crazy. He's got some kind of cough. Nuts. Yo. I think he's been drinking. He might have a cold, but he's still spitting bars. That's all he knows. Oh my God. He don't stop. He ain't not gonna quit. Look at him, bobbing back and forth. I swear he's drunk. I'm in an what? I already said that. With a black trench coat. I definitely said that. Black boots. I said that. You know. They know. I'm done. Oh my God. He's tough. You better know. You can't do this. Nobody wants to. They know. Yeah. How am I the hype man? I don't understand. Yeah. This is great. Yeah.
Black trench coat, black boots. I didn't mention the color of the trench coat last night. Cause I'm tired.
Oh my God. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
Man.
Tough.
It's time for everyone's favorite part of the podcast. You know what I'm talking about. When things get a little bit spicy, they get a little personal. And in fact, this could be considered therapy if any of us were qualified. It's time for All Up In Your Salsa.
Go, Panda. Just go.
Go?
Just go.
Where am I going?
Go.
What?
Give your salsa. Go ahead. Go.
I don't like this segment. I've said that before. I'm going to say it again.
Okay, well. So you got nothing?
I mean, I have salsa, but do I want to share it?
That's the whole point of the fucking segment.
Okay, I'll choose something else than I can talk. Thick. Yeah. Like your skull. Also, I will share some salsa from earlier this week. So, I left the state.
Yeah.
And it was great. I flew American Airlines on, I don't even know, like the oldest plane. I normally fly Southwest, but I couldn't get a flight at the time I needed.
Okay.
But it was amazing because it had all this leg room. I even sent you a picture. Like,
yeah,
before.
I do remember. Why,
I was like, look at that. I've never had this much leg room.
See, I wasn't sure.
Did I explain that?
Hold on. I wasn't sure if that was meant to be sarcastic. So
No.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's a lot of room.
It was a lot of room.
Yeah, it was a lot of room.
Did I explain why that was?
No.
My seat, this leads to my salsa though. My seat was right behind the section of the plane in front that is 4 seats per row, 2 on each side, and then wow, Gwen, 3 seats per row. Oh, Jesus. 1 seat on one side, 2 seats on the right.
Sure, okay.
And it switches where you have less space, so there's 2 seats on each side.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, just get the fucking
Okay,
point.
the row in front of me had 3 seats. My row had 4.
Okay.
So there's less space in my row.
Okay.
But apparently, where the switch is, there's also more leg room in that one row.
That's so random.
So I had all this leg room. Anyway, so I'm all happy. I send you a picture of my legs stretched out because, I'm on the taller side. And
you're a fucking giant.
I'm like, oh yeah, all right, we're gonna take off. Let me get my comic book out. We do these ads for First Print Comics.
Yeah.
And I recently got part of the series called The Beauty.
The Beauty.
I have book 1 and book 3. Mike got me book 2. But because we got there before he was actually even open, he's like, I have it. I don't know where it is right this second. So I said, don't worry about it. Get it next time. But I bought book 1 and book 3. I meant to grab book 1. And I was so ready and excited to read this book. I take it out of the plastic, sit back, open it, look at the page, and go, that is not the beginning of a story.
What's
I go
funny?
back to the cover, look at the spine, and I'm like, fuck.
What's funny is
I was so ready to read it.
I asked you if you brought a book, and you said that you brought that. And I forgot the reason why I came up here, to the library, and I'm like, I saw book 1, and I'm like, oh, she took the wrong book. There it is.
I was so disappointed.
Yeah,
I was so annoyed with myself.
Oh.
So, back in my bag it went, and
that's your salsa?
Yeah.
Okay, my salsa is a little bit more fiery. When I was growing up, back in 1994, there was a movie that people didn't realize was going to be so pivotal to an entire generation of people. And I'm talking about a subculture. Some people don't understand the term subculture. You get your regular culture, then you have your subcultures of different things. The people that dress up goth or punk or kawaii, or you know what I'm saying? Like there's different subcultures. And one of the major things about this movie for the gothic subculture and the grunge, it was all connected to the movie The Crow. Okay. The Crow is by far the most tragic comic book ever created. And this is coming from a man that worships Batman. Okay? Now, The Crow was written back in the 80s, actually, back in like 88, 89, by an ex-Marine, I believe that's the branch he was in, James O'Barr, who was engaged to a woman that got killed by a drunk driver. She was actually on her way to go pick him up, I believe. That's how the story goes. And she was hit by this drunk driver and killed. And apparently she was a very, very pure person, very, whatever, like, awesome person. And this bothered him so much, like he did not know how to handle it. And the man was an artist, and in the military, he made money on the side by illustrating like different manuals for the branch of the military he was in. So, he was already doing his thing. And when he got out, to help himself try to cope, with the loss of his fiancée, he started drawing the comic book, which would be called The Crow. And it took him years. It took him like 5-6 years, I think. Maybe even, something like that. I don't even remember. It was a long time. Was it 5-6 years? No, it had to have been like 3 years. 3 years, 89. Yeah. Anyway, so he's drawn this book. And he based it, actually, because he's from Detroit, he based it on this horrible situation where this young couple were murdered over a $20 engagement ring. Okay? It's pretty fucked up. And he took that, and that was the basis with that, and he used that as his baseline, his like, what's the word I'm looking for? His outline, basically. And all the different things that happened were personal experiences between him and his dead fiancée. He even put himself in, different parts of his personality into the villains of the actual story. Like, he was literally, this book is all of him. Like, he even made himself out to be the bad guy in certain points that he identified with. Anyway, this story was so, like, huge. It got world renowned, like, for being a black and white comic, and it just got huge. It got fucking huge, and was eventually published, and it was all over the place. It was published by a backroom publishing place, and then it got picked up by a bigger distributor, and it got out there, and it just became a phenomenon. So much to the point where they wanted to make a movie, and they did. They made a movie, and it was starring Brandon Lee, the son of Bruce Lee, and it was like nothing that anybody had ever seen. Like the graphics, the story, everything. It was just superbly done. Unfortunately, the only reason why this movie, well, one of the major reasons why this movie is so known is because Brandon Lee died while making the movie. They would end up finishing the movie, okay, by using stunt doubles and hyperimposing Brandon Lee's face on stunt doubles' bodies. Sometimes it was seamless and that you couldn't tell, but there's certain scenes where you'll be like, oh, I can kind of tell if you're looking. So the whole point is they finished this movie out of respect and love for Brandon because of everything he did, to make this movie happen. And it's been received worldwide for generations. People love this movie. Okay. Well, they are making a remake out of this movie. And that's where my salsa comes. Bill Skarsgård, the guy who was It from the remake of It. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Nothing against him. He's just trying to take a job. Let's be realistic. People like to villainize the actors when the actors are just taking jobs. Somebody else wrote the script. Somebody else is producing the movie. You know what I mean? Unless they're doing all of it, they're just taking a job, right? Yes? No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the director of the original Crow movie said, because I'll tell you, some test footage has come out, a trailer came out, and I love Diane Ward. Okay, I do. Ninja has a very specific look, okay, with his tattoos and stuff.
Agreed.
Bill Skarsgård has almost the identical haircut and the random tattoos all over his body. His body is very similar to how Ninja's is in real life. And I noticed that, and I was like, that's weird. Then I see him walking around with, very bad makeup put on and whatever, and this black trench coat, which, the Crow is known for wearing a black trench coat. But the way he looks, I was like, oh God, he looks like Jared Leto when they did Suicide Squad. And then I look at more, footage coming out. And mind you, there were 3 sequels after the Brandon Lee movie. Not one of them was given the same name as Brandon Lee's Crow, because the Crow itself is a moniker. It's not like Batman is Batman. You know what I mean? Or Superman. It's like if something horrible happens to you and the crow comes to you, Panda, you can be the crow. You know, that's just how the crow mythos works. So they could have given this kid any name in the world, right? And he would have been the crow. It would have been fine. It would have been, sequel number 4. You know, who cares? Mm-hmm. But they didn't. They gave it the same name as Brandon Lee's Crow. And the worst thing I've ever heard in my life, Reimagined. I hate it. I fucking hate when people say, oh, this is just a reimagining. They create your own shit, motherfucker. Stop it. Just stop. Okay? Because not only do you got this guy looking like Jared Leto's Joker mixed up with Ninja, poor Ninja, I'm sorry, Ninja. But Shelley, who's Eric Draven's fiance, is a black chick. I forgot her name. It's like 3 letters and a last name or some shit. I can't remember. And who has a British accent. And they're like, I swear to God, they're in Europe or somewhere. I'm like, where the fuck are they even at? Like, none of it made sense. And I'm like, this is horrible. They should have just left it alone. But apparently this is like going really crazy, like all over the internet. People are pissed. People are fucking already boycotting the movie. They're ripping things apart. And as I alluded before, the director of the original Crow movie, he said, and I quote, I think the fans' response speaks volumes. The Crow is not just a movie. Brandon Lee died making it. And it was finished as a testament to his lost brilliance and tragic, or his lost brilliance and tragic loss. It is his legacy. That's how it should remain. And I absolutely agree. It just, people are so like, let's just remake it. No, just leave it alone. Just fucking leave it alone. I don't think that the movie's going to do well. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it. But, alright, I've taken enough time on this. I told you guys the whole fucking story.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
You going to watch it?
When it's streaming somewhere, I might watch it. I will not pay money for it. I will not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
I pay for the streaming service,
yeah.
But guess what? I watch a lot of other shit on the streaming services, so it's not like I'm paying for that. But I'm not going to know. I'm not sitting in through. No, I can't. Okay. This is not Madam Web. I'm not going to do that shit again. You know what I mean?
All right.
Okay. Well, let's mark out for these words.
So you're a fan of the podcast? Show us by wearing our merch, by going to uwcforlife.com and picking one out. Buy a shirt. They're 1 for $18 or 2 for $36. Buy the shirt. What I'm sure is Shelley's name, the actress, is FKA Twigs.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know who that is. She's obviously somebody with that kind of name.
I'm sure she's some like pop singer or some bullshit, but not here.
She looks actually like really pretty.
Yeah, that's great. She's not fucking Shelley.
Well,
stop remaking shit. Like, it could have made him anybody else. Did you watch it? You should watch the trailer. Watch the trailer. It like hurts my soul. Like, I sat through the trailer and I was like, all right, let me see this thing. Good. And I was like, what the fuck? Not cool. But, God, that's the show today. It was a long show today. A lot of talking. We did a lot of talking. You're not saying anything. Now you're on your fucking tablet. Yeah, watch out. You're gathering fucking information from Walmart, yeah.
I'm gathering information, yeah. I was looking to see who she is. FKA Twigs.
Yeah, okay.
She's a singer, songwriter, and dancer.
I told you she was
of Spanish descent.
Really? Well, WTF over. Okay.
I don't know.
All right, guys. We're going to get going. So have a good night. Sorry about the lateness on the podcast. Hopefully we'll be back in our regular schedule next week. All right, until then, stay classy.